see any alligators on the trail. Go. We're out at the Van Fleet Trail out near Davenport, Claremont, Florida. And the workout today is an 8-mile, what we call a PMP, a predicted or projected marathon pace workout. And so it's pretty late in the build right now, and so right now it's all about dialing in that pace and just kind of trying to feel as comfortable as possible. We'll practice some bottles, we'll practice, trying to hit pace and be comfortable at it, and then maybe ratchet it down the last mile or so if we're feeling good. But yeah, the work's done, and so it's just about feeling good. We didn't talk about how we're running this with Nico.
That's all right.
Longtime teammate, former BYU teammate. We're running this with Nico because he's the veteran out here. He's the one that recommended this trail. And yeah, we're excited to be running with him again. He's fun to run these kind of long workouts with because he's good at them.
And it's a PMP, right? Because Iceland doesn't change.
Yep, doesn't change.
8-mile
it's been
PMP.
the same 8-mile PMP for the last 10 years and for the next 10 years.
Yeah. Those are my favorite workouts.
It's a little bit different today because usually we're doing this at altitude, so we're trying to figure out, do we adjust, do we not adjust, do we still focus on pace, or do we focus on what the pace would feel like at altitude?
Great, so we'll probably like 2 miles?
Yeah.
Oh man. We got in Monday night late. We just had an opportunity to come out here and test out the humidity, and Utah got hit with a really bad snowstorm, so we just decided to take that opportunity up, and it's been great. It's been cool to kind of feel this a little bit, and one day it's hot, one day it's cold, but just to kind of get a feel for it and be out here. So we'll fly back Saturday is the plan, and then have 10 more days in Utah before we come out. So. Maybe we'll make some carry him. Just don't want to see any alligators on the trail.
You need your special socks for your workouts and races.
What makes these special socks?
Nothing. This is a little more lighter. They're not gonna soak up so much sweat.
You're seeing a very muddy pair. When we were in Utah, we got hit with a snowstorm and it was just sloppy. So they're so muddy.
Put these shoes on, it's game time. Gotta make sure I'm on my game for these boys.
Weird is running hard with that shirt on.
Yeah, dude, I think 4 miles in it's gonna get a little nasty,
but I want to try it out. Yeah, I want to know how I'm gonna feel.
You should wear your singlet. I almost brought my singlet, but I was like, I don't want these guys thinking I'm racing here.
All right, official start line right here.
That's not a race. All right, sweet. That's official, right?
That's the official.
That is so official. Hey, no false starts, please.
If it was dirt, I'd do this.
Good point.
All right, so we're officially going off Clayton's course.
Yeah, and we'll do a counterclockwise U-turn.
Okay.
Yep.
Like the trot. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe just get in line. I don't know. Whoever's feeling good or feeling ahead. As for pace, if we were at Lake Loop in Provo, we would probably go 448s.
Okay.
And we would be between 448 and 450, right?
Yeah.
So we reached out to coach. Haven't heard all the exact details, but we're thinking at sea level, we put a governor at 445, and then if we're feeling good the last mile, then we'll open it up. That's what we're gonna do.
That's good.
Yeah.
Pack it up.
Yeah. So that's what we're gonna. I know that's probably a little more aggressive than what our marathon pace will be on February 3rd, but that's what we're gonna do.
Well, I think it's good now, right? Because we're 16 days out or 17, so volume's starting to lower, and so the intensity is fine. And we're out far enough that you know, when I run 4:05 for the last one,
Yeah,
I gotta be okay.
Yeah, you'll be good.
I'll be fine, right? Thanks,
Yeah.
thanks, coach.
Yeah. Don't be surprised with Conner. All right. Well, welcome to the 2024 Olympic Trials. Yeah.
2-time.
2-time. We started every time.
All right.
All right. Two command start. On your marks, go.
It's fun. I've always looked up to Clayton and Conner, even though Conner's a lot younger than me, but it's still like an honor to work out with like some of the best athletes. So I've always thought Coach Eyestone too has done an amazing job with marathoners specifically. So just to come back and work out with friends, Jared Ward always says like, let's play before we start a workout, and like that's just what comes to mind. Just a bunch of friends working out, having fun.
The weather is just so different than what we run in Utah, and so we've been trying to simulate it in Utah, but we decided to come down just so we could actually get like a real feel for it. Clayton's been down a few times, his parents used to live here, but for me, this is my first time coming down, and it's been really good for me, I think, to just kind of figure out, okay, this is actually how it feels when you're running through humid weather. Like you can try and simulate it with you put on like your cotton sweats, and you tuck everything in, and then you put a humidifier on, and then you have your treadmill, but it's not the same as actually running in it.
It's kind of ironic having you out here in Florida right now because this is so rare for us. Like we never go on training trips. We're usually pretty much homebodies. And you know, this idea of, you know, renting an Airbnb and getting a bachelor pad and like being without our families this is so foreign. This is typical for most pros, but so foreign to us. And I think that's one of the beauties of the training group that we do have, is that, you know, we're family men. Like we live life to its fullest. We're not just bachelors that are hunkering up together. Not that there's anything against that either, but there's more to life than just running, and this is just a big part of it. So.
I had a few weeks over 120, so my mileage is higher than it's ever been. Yeah, it's been great. Clayton had an injury last year around this time, so it's been really nice to kind of, when he came back from his injury, he started getting really good again, and it was kind of nice to like be able to work with each other. And when he was injured, I had Jared Ward to work out with, and Jared's a great training partner as well. So it's always nice to train with somebody who's about your level. And I mean, everybody goes through injuries, so it's kind of been nice to really build off one another.
You know, it's really interesting when you compare this build to my last build. My last build, I raced 5 times in my build, and I think it really helped me. So yeah, this build was like completely different. I haven't raced at all. We've had a couple of simulation days, kind of like today, where we could, you know, stretch the legs out a little bit, but by and large, it's just been training. Chicago's build was phenomenal. I had just come off of knee surgery, and so my expectations were kind of low, and I just took it one workout at a time, and I was setting workout PRs week after week, and it was phenomenal. It was really rewarding, and so, you know, obviously this build there was a lot higher expectations. I had my previous workouts, and we don't change a lot of things from build to build, and so I kind of had a standard or a bar of those expectations. And so this build, I kind of started off a little slow, and I think it was because I was still recovering from Chicago, and so I was, you know, hitting good days, you know, hitting paces, but nothing, you know, maybe a second or two slower than last build or a little tougher than last build. But then about halfway through this build, things started to click a little bit, and I would say I am just as fit or faster than Chicago, which is kind of the goal of this build. We knew that if we were consistent with this build, if we could replicate what we did in Chicago, that there was probably a good chance we would make the team.
One thing I really tried to work on the last, I don't know, 8 months or so is just kind of focusing on myself and focusing on what I can do. I really wanted to do the World Championships for the marathon, but you couldn't really bet that the weather would be very good, and so I decided to do Chicago instead, which had, for the most part, consistently good weather. And when it wasn't good weather, I thought I could have been top 5, so I think, you know, I really had to get that qualifier to just kind of be like, okay, control what I can control, make sure that when I get to the start line in the trials, there's at least one spot out there. And so, I mean, it's nice. I wish there was, you know, for sure we had 3 spots, but my goal of Chicago is getting that qualifier out of the way so that, you know, if I control what I can control and I go to the trials and I win, I can get that spot. It's not, I have to rely on somebody else to get it for me.
Yeah, I think nutrition is kind of like the new name of the game, right? Like training has kind of been, there's still a lot of adaptations that are happening in training, but nutrition is becoming huge, right? It's like I feel like I'm a chemist every workout morning, and I'm mixing my, you know, electrolytes and my sugars and carbs and this ratios and ketones. Like that's been a huge surge over the last year, and so it takes a lot of practice, a lot of dialing in, you know, the right amounts and training your gut, and it almost is overwhelming. Like it's almost so annoying. Like I have to mix all of these different collagens and proteins. Like I'm packing 4 different bottles to different workouts, but it definitely is making a difference. I'm getting a lot better at it. Like I've been a lot more consistent at it, and I feel like I'm so grateful that I've taken the time and the confidence. Like I have the confidence now on the start line. Like I know what's in my bottles, I know what I'm gonna do. I've had really good workouts with the fueling, and my gut's been great. So it takes a lot of the guessing out of it.
Yeah, I think like you really want to train your gut, you really want to train how much you can take in. Like, so that's kind of why you practice it during your runs like this. I was using Martin 320. It's a great product. It's probably what I'm going to use in the marathon. So it's a fluid, but it also has a ton of calories, so it works.
Yeah, I was able to run the trials in 2020. I had been injured going into that build, and so I only ended up being able to run on the ground for like 3 weeks. But it was about that experience. We knew that I would be back on the line in 4 years, and so the more experience that I could gain in Atlanta to prepare me for, you know, the 2024 Olympic trials, the better. And so, honestly, I went out at 5:15 pace. I died at mile 15 and just packed it in. But there's something about being on the start line and feeling the energy there and being with the other athletes, and you know, I've actually gone back and I've watched, you know, the 2012, the 2016, the 2020 trials, and it's so fun to go back to the 2020 trials and like relive those feelings. I think they will be valuable, and it's weird to think that, you know, in 2020 I was like 3rd tier. They did like the top 12, and then they did, you know, the guys from 212 to 216, and then they did the half marathoners, and then they did the rest. And so I started, you know, mid-pack in the back of the start line, and it's weird now looking at the start lines of all these races and being like, no, I will be on the front line, and I just set the tone for this race. There's going to be a lot of eyes on me, and how can I handle those emotions? The expectation from day one has always been that we have to be top 3 at the trials, but now with the situation of the selection procedures kind of being gray and not really knowing what happens if one of us takes 3rd or you know, it has been easy to kind of get frustrated with the process, but then I just go back to my expectation from day one was always I have to be top 3 at the trials. And so I try to focus on that and you know, try not to get too worked up about it, because there's not a lot that I can do. But like at the end of the day, we have to be top 3, and that's the only thing I can control at this point. And so that's what I'm focused on. If something else comes up and it changes, and Conner and I are named to the team a different way, great, but we can't control that.
I appreciated the start time, so today at 10 o'clock, roughly trying to mimic the race time. I thought it was a little bit like on the humid side, so I'm just not sure what we're gonna get. I've been here for 2 weeks now, and I feel like I've gone anywhere between 40-degree weather and like 80-degree weather. So I don't know what to expect, but I'm glad I'm experiencing it all, so I have nothing to kind of leave to chance come race day.
It was good. I think it's a little, like the air feels thick, not like altitude, and it's humid. So other than that, like when you're at sea level, it's kind of fun to just kind of let the legs go for a little bit, kind of at the end. So it's a good workout.
Yeah, I think today's workout was phenomenal. Actually, I was really happy with it. I think both Conner and I talked last night about what this workout should look like. That we wanted to practice patience and then see what we had at the end, and I think that's what we did. Paces were probably a little bit more aggressive than what we had planned, but that's kind of par for the course, to be honest. Like, coach will always give us paces, and Conner is greedy, and he loves to run fast, and he loves to feel good, and so I kind of knew, like, you know, we set a governor at 4:45, but we ended up rolling in the low 4:40s and high 4:30s, and that's just honestly par for the course. And but I felt good about it, and I closed well.
I think it's good to run with people who challenge you and who push you. You know, I have a great teammate back home, and I have Andrew on the bike, so those are two amazing pacers for me and to use and to utilize for my training. But when you have guys that are just really pushing the envelope, really challenging themselves, it just opens up to me like what can be accomplished. And you know, Conner today finishing how he did was just really good for my mindset to see. It's almost like getting a sneak peek into what these guys do, even though I know Conner likes to send it. But actually being in it and to experience that again is just an honor.
I think kind of like what we've spoken to, I think staying present, controlling what I can control. I think some people would put me in the top 3. I think there's a lot of people that wouldn't. And so I kind of get to still enjoy this underdog mentality. You know, unlike Conner and unlike some of the other favorites, I think, like I said, I still get to enjoy this underdog mentality. And so while there will be eyes on me and while I will be a contender, I don't know, I'm not gonna worry about it, and just gonna take it a mile at a time, a step at a time, and stay present. And that's, maybe I've chosen to have that underdog mentality because I think that's my safest mental approach.
I'm looking forward to the trials, and you know, if the weather's good, I'm looking forward to running a PR, and if not, I'm looking forward to make the team. Both cases make the team, but I'd love to run a PR. I think, you know, heading into the trials, I'm going to be kind of just focused on myself and trying to do what I can do, and same with Clayton. I think he's gonna, you know, we might find a way to strategize together, but I think the big thing is, you know, for right now, just getting really, really fit. Coach Eyestone is a big, one of his quotes he would always say is like, "Oh, the fittest guy's gonna win." And it's like, you know, we can do all the heat acclimatization, we can do everything, but when it comes to race day, you know, if you're the fittest guy in the field, you can have a bad strategy and still make the team. And so we'll figure out our strategies later, but I think like probably a week of the race, but for now it's just, let's just get really, really fit.
Oh, really? Oh, baby. Come in. A little too quick for me at the end there. Didn't like that.
What do you got, Nico? Need some.
I liked what your watch was saying.
4 is like right here.
See, I hit 8. Nice as a dot.
Guess mine was the short one today.
Finish line.
I like that. 1, 2, 3 right here.
Let's send 3 Cougars Olympics.
I'd love it.
I'm saving up for you.
Yeah. You no need to go all out. Got a little greedy that last mile, but
That's okay. It's the last mile. You're warmed
How
up.
are you? 420? 418?
That's disgusting.
he was like 65, 66, 65, 64 or something like that.
I was running like 4:33 and I was like, this is good.
Yeah.
I like this.